We have an opportunity, Chris, to do so many things now. Guess what? If you elect me, you're not going to have your taxes are going to be raised, not cut. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. Ends. Nobody is going to be deported in my first 100 days. We should eliminate the use and transition away from the use of plastics. No new fracking.
Undocumented immigrants that live in the United States, would they have access to health insurance?
Yes, not another new coal plant will be built.
To gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're going to come for my guns.
Bingo. We're going to have an opportunity, I believe, in the next round here.
There we go. Look at Joe Biden. Tonight is the big night. Thank you for joining us here at the Bill Mason Show.
Welcome to the pre-debate show. It'll probably be a little bit quicker show than normal because I'm sure everybody wants to watch a debate, but that is Biden's platform. It's a platform that sounds like somebody who doesn't even live in the United States. It sounds like somebody who's un-American to me.
Yes, definitely un-American. Wants to raise taxes, no more fossil fuels, you name it. All
no
bad
more
stuff.
oil drilling, take your guns. I mean, this guy comes from such a weird place, being from Delaware, which, you know, Delaware is a hop, skipping away for me. It's where people go to avoid paying taxes. He's from a state that literally has zero income tax and zero sales tax. So what people do there is they form corporations and then they go there to buy expensive furniture so they don't have to pay thousands in taxes. Mm-hmm. It's basically a tax shelter state. So for Biden to like bring up Trump's taxes, it's kind of laughable because he's from the home of tax avoidance.
Yes, that's true. I mean, and just a few minutes ago, this video came out by security of a debate. Take a look.
They're going to need it.
They're getting ready for it.
Yeah.
Lots of security here tonight. Looks like they might be trying to do some riots there after the debate. What do you think?
Yeah, I just heard a local radio guy. It's in Cleveland, I think. It's Cleveland, Ohio, right? Is that where
that's correct? Yes.
And he was saying that there's tour buses everywhere, all over the city, and they're like regular charter buses. And he's like, I'm pretty sure these are the rioters that get bussed in from other states, and you know, these are going to be the participants of tonight's festivities. And he said that they were setting up perimeters around the convention center and all the crap around there. And he said all he could hear was helicopters, more than usual. Like he said, it's not like Cleveland. He used to be a disc jockey in Los Angeles. He was like, it feels like Los Angeles on a Friday night.
Oh wow, I'm sure it's a lot of activity going on. I mean, well, let's go back. You were talking about taxes. I mean, that's the big thing this week. Biden and Harris just released their taxes from last year, and then Trump, of course, didn't release them, but somebody got a hold of them.
Well, two reasons he can't release them, and this came up a couple of times, is that he's under audit for one. He's under an active IRS audit, and that may or may not be, from what I understand, a recent thing. He's been under audit for close to 10 years because this stuff dates back to tax credits from when the New York City, Board of Commerce let him build these hotels tax-free and all this, he was a deal maker and he made deals. He said, look, you got these crappy hotels, I'll refurbish them, but I'm not paying taxes for years. And they were like, okay, thank you. So, I mean, I don't really know how deep this goes, but the other thing I do know is I looked at some other very wealthy people's taxes that I know, not like super close personal friends, but other people who I know are accountants are like, yeah, see if you can understand this. Very, very difficult to understand how they pay taxes. One, they file as a S corporation. Usually, they usually have a lot of offsets, a lot of losses, a lot of loan interest to write off. Well, when you own properties and you pay interest on the loans for the properties, that's all a write-off. I mean, it's really difficult. It makes my taxes look like a children's coloring book.
Right, definitely. I mean, very complex, I'm sure, especially in real estate, all those properties that he owns. So yeah, I'm sure they're going to bring this up. let's just take a look at the last debate, what Hillary said to Trump, and
Okay.
let's talk about that.
They showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So
That makes
if
me
he's
smart.
paid zero, but what is really troubling is that we learned in the last debate he has not paid a penny in federal income tax. And we were talking about immigrants a few minutes ago, Chris. You know, half of all immigrants, undocumented immigrants in our country, actually pay federal income tax. So we have undocumented immigrants in America who are paying more federal income tax than a billionaire. I find
So
that
let me just tell you very
astonishing.
simply, we're entitled, because of the laws that people like her pass, to take massive amounts of depreciation and other charges, and we do it. And all of her donors, just about all of them, I know Buffett took hundreds of millions of dollars, George Soros, took hundreds of millions of dollars. Let me just explain. All of her donors, most of her donors have done the same thing as I did.
Okay.
Well,
And you know what you should have done?
Folks, we heard
and
this.
you know, Hillary, what you should have done? You should have changed the law when you were a United States Senator. If you
Folks,
don't
we
like
heard
it.
this.
Yeah.
Because your donors and your special interests are doing the same thing as I do, except even more so.
Well,
you
you know-
should have changed the law, but you won't change the law because you take in so much money. I mean, I sat in my apartment today on a very beautiful hotel down the street, known as Trump.
Made with Chinese steel.
But I will tell you, I sat there watching ad after ad after ad, false ad, all paid for by your friends on Wall Street that gave so much money because they know you're going to protect them. And frankly, you should have changed the
Mr.
laws.
Trump,
if you don't like what I did, you should have changed the laws.
Okay, and that was Chris Wallace too, by the way. That's going to be a debate tonight.
Oh yeah, and you can hear him as Trump was really starting to like lay into the fury. He was trying to stop him, and I'm pretty sure that's going to go on tonight.
Well, you stopped him at George Soros. So,
Right.
yeah, once that word was shown, hey, we can't talk about him.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
you know, I read that Wall Street Journal. So apparently, the Wall Street Journal did a response to the New York Times. The New York Times was the ones that released the whole $750 thing that they're talking about, and that was his tax liability. And then they further released the information in the Wall Street Journal that said technically he paid almost $5.4 million in total in overpayments that he said, to which you can do with the IRS, defer that for further taxes. He didn't take a return. And, you know, as far as the actual filing, he makes money some years where the properties, the trusts, the retail, it pays him, and other years he takes zero. So a lot of rich people do this where they're involved in multiple corporations where they go an entire year without any income. And it's just they're living off their other income, and it's not a big deal to them. And most people can't understand that some really rich people don't file taxes like we do every year because they made $30 to $50 million the year before, you know, and they're moving their money in and out of trust funds and doing things as a tax shelter. And honestly, what Trump said is that makes me smart. The other thing I think I want people to remember is Trump operates in the public sector where you have to earn your money. You have to actually physically do something. You have to make something happen, whether it's with your body or your mind, or you produce something to make money, where Hillary's coming from the government side where they just wait for the taxpayer money to roll in. So of course she's upset that Trump's good at moving money around. Just like he brought up Warren Buffett and George Soros. I'm sure they're masters of it.
Right. And of course, he donates his salary to different parts of the government or to
Every
charities.
quarter.
So I mean, he's been donating his entire paycheck to causes that he believes in. So, and also, I mean, let's talk about tonight. So of course, it starts at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time Zone on Fox. Chris Wallace is the moderator. Talk about what happened today as far as earpieces and breaks. Tell me what happened with that.
Yeah, that was shocking. The stuff that Biden agreed to, apparently, I guess it was 30 days ago when this date was locked in. Trump really wanted Biden to lock in on a date because he was all over the map when the debates were going to be. Right. He started to say that they wanted stipulations and And one of the things that Biden agreed to was an ear search, like kind of like scoop your ear, make sure there's nothing in there. And Biden had agreed to that originally, and he changed his mind. He doesn't want that anymore because of that. There was a picture that was released on Twitter where you could see him pushing it in more, and it's flesh colored. It's a really good one. It's a really great flesh colored earpiece that he has.
Oh yeah, they're going to be talking in his ear all night long. Yeah. And he also wanted a break every 30 minutes, and Trump denied him for that.
Yeah, he wanted 30 minutes of debate, 10 minutes of non-debate, and then 30 minutes of debate. And Trump was like, absolutely not. Like, this isn't like, the minor leagues, man. This is like, if you can't hack 90 minutes, then you shouldn't be president.
Exactly. Maybe he has to use the restroom, but he can use it to pens.
Yeah, he probably already has the pens on.
Right. Well, let's take a look at what he said the other day. I mean, is he really this old? Take a look.
Yeah.
That's why I've made it a priority my entire career to work closely with you. From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago, as well as my tenure as vice president.
All right, so 180 years ago.
Hey, that's a lot of experience. And I understand
a lot of experience.
Why those Democrats are so really pounding that experience drum, because he has a lot.
Unbelievable. So was he kidding, or he didn't like he was kidding at all?
I don't think he really knows when he's kidding and when he's not. He's kind of like, and God rest his soul, like, my grandfather would tell stories that we all heard before. We know how it begins and how it ends, and it didn't matter. You just kind of sat there and listened to it. It's almost like he's at that stage in life where he doesn't really know if he said this before or if he's really there. Like he's in places that he has no idea. I hope they probably have it written on his hand that he's in Ohio. You know what I mean? He's probably gonna have to look at his hand to make sure where he is. I mean, this is the level that we're at. And the other thing is that he tried to fire back, at Trump, saying that he wanted fact checkers like in the audience, or on next to the moderators. And Trump said, yeah, as long as I get one too. And then he was like, oh, never mind.
Exactly, right. This fact check Trump only.
Yeah, we're only going to fact check you, and it's going to be some liberal hack who just says everything. Yeah, okay.
Right. Well, let's take a look at Biden's mishaps real quick, okay? Take a look.
Oh, there's millions.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by the thing. Tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont? One of the things I'm proudest of is getting moved, getting control of the Paris Climate Accord. I'm the guy that came back after meeting with Deng Xiaoping and making the case that I believe China would join if we put pressure on them. You had people like you had people like the former chairman and leader of the party in Germany. Go to Joe 30330. Watch what happened when those kids from Parkland came up to see me when I was vice president. They went and some of you covered it.
So Biden tells this story, or some version of it, a lot. He says that, he went on this military trip and it was dangerous, but he wanted to go anywhere, and he goes to the Konar province of Afghanistan, and he hears about how this man had climbed down into a ravine to rescue a fallen soldier, and he comes back up and he doesn't want to get this medal because he feels so heartbroken that his fellow comrade has fallen. That's about 3 different really heroic war stories, all kind of pushed together into one anecdote.
Joe Biden has made all sorts of statements about his activism in the civil rights movement. Now, in the beginning of his career, he made similar statements that he's making today on the campaign trail, and then he got caught lying. And for a huge chunk of his political career, he stopped telling those lies.
This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto, the only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range of people.
No,
my point is,
that's not true. The other one is here.
Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night.
That's right. So is he going to call Chris Wallace Chuck again?
I mean, he could call him Bob, Chuck. I'm sure he's going to call him like anything. He seems like that he's that type of guy, honestly, that probably gets away with that in most circles where, you know, they're just like, oh, old Joe got our name wrong again. But I mean, another thing I was reading, this was on Twitter earlier, about his staff members. There is a rotating nurse that follows this guy around. So like the thing about Trump's taxes, and they keep pounding on it, it's almost because Trump had asked him before the debates, why don't you release your medical records? Why don't you release your last physical? Can people
drug
see
exam
that?
too as well?
Yeah, because here's the thing. Why is a nurse like following him around? Like that makes me think, like, is this guy like heavily medicated? Is he like got heart conditions? Like, I mean, his wife admitted he had a couple of strokes. I mean, is this guy in the condition to even do the job? I mean, mentally, we're watching him fade in real time.
Yes.
Over the past year, I've just watched him fade away even more.
He's not going to be able to handle 90 minutes tonight. I just don't think he's going to be able to handle it.
And that's why this may be the reason that people riot, because after the Democrats just look like deer in headlights going, that's our guy. Oh my God, that's our guy. You know what I mean? The shock is gonna set in.
If it's real bad, they're going to call off the other two debates. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, if he blows this debate, there's not going to be any more, and it's just we can count on more riots and more unrest and more nonsense, because this will be like the thing that kind of like puts them in their place where they're like, we picked the wrong guy. Right. We picked a terrible candidate.
They did pick the wrong guy. It's
absolutely,
it's bad.
Which I'm glad, and so is Trump. Trump has said many times, he's like, I'm glad I'm facing Biden. There are people on the Democrat side that I am glad I don't have to face them, because Biden is an easy mark.
Exactly. Well, make sure you watch the debates tonight. So we're going to move on to Patriots chasing Black Lives Matter video. So what happened with that, Bill? What's going on with that?
Well, I think these young rioters are learning that Florida is maybe not the place to try to start pushing people around. It's maybe it works in Seattle and Oregon,
or Portland,
California. It's not going to work in Florida. I really don't think it's going to happen.
All right, let's take a look at this.
Would come around on these sides of the business. Look, people cheering.
Purple Trump. It's Trump 2020.
Yes. Woo! Look, they like us. They love us. They love us. They're cheering us because we're defending them.
Exactly.
We're defending them because the St. Pete police don't do nothing. We're out here defending y'all from being harassed while you eat and just enjoy your way of life. Get out of St. Pete, Antifa. Say no to Antifa.
Where we going? Let's go. Where we going?
They're blocking the roads. That's what they do. They're blocking the roads.
They're blocking the road.
BLM is marching that way.
Get them out of the road. Keep up. Keep up.
Let's go follow them.
Come on.
Come on, let's go.
Get out of the road. Get out of the road. Get them out. Get them out of the road. Now, let's go. Yep. Regroup.
Come on, we're going. We're following. The pursuit is on. Look, blocking traffic. That's what they do. Block traffic. No St. Pete police in sight. Apparently, you can commit criminal acts and harass people. Get out of the street. Let the cars go in peace.
What you running up on?
What? There's 1,000 people watching this, man. You don't want to do no criminal act. You don't want to do no criminal act.
Patriots, get out of the road. not forward. Do that shit. All lives matter. Y'all know that shit. For that to happen, all lives matter. Do not forward. All lives matter. Do not forward. You like it when the color gets on the skin.
He had a knife or something on him. Where are you, St. Pete police? Where are you?
There they are. So
yeah,
there wasn't too many of them, but they were taking them down.
Yeah, it's not. It's the funny thing is that if you look at the states that they say Biden can win, they're not even attempting to really push for what they call retirement states. I mean, the guy's 77 years old, and he does not appeal to that age group at all. They've all watched his career. Everybody who's in that prime number is looking at him like, I watched your whole career, man. I know what you did. The people that are rallying around him are these young people that are like hook, line, and sinker, Democrat, leftist, socialist, communist. I mean, they're like a windsock at this point just to get votes. And I mean, they're willing to buy votes. I mean, we saw what just broke out. I mean, in Texas, they're being prosecuted for, ballot harvesting, the Project Veritas thing.
That's our next video, right now, the harvesting, vote harvesting.
That's what I'm saying. So like these young people that are falling for this crap, they can buy them. Okay. Anyone who's worked for a significant portion of their life, they maybe have some retirement money, maybe have like a dream to like give their house to their grandkids. They run from Biden. Biden wants to make a 71% tax on you giving your home to your child. Right. I mean, it's crazy that your child won't be able to receive your home because they won't be able to pay the taxes on it. Right. I mean, the things that he thinks of, and the left, that they're quote unquote punishing the rich, they're punishing a lot of people who worked really hard all their life. They're not just punishing trust fund babies. They're punishing people who busted their ass and got the American dream. So they're not going to take that lightly.
No, they're not. And let's take a look at that vote harvesting. I mean, that's a shocking video from Project Veritas. Let's take a look.
Yeah, great one.
Project Veritas has received an explosive piece of tape. The tape you're about to see shows a man buying a registration form for an absentee ballot from a voter, giving him, quote, pocket money, unquote, of $200 and expecting to collect his ballot when the voter receives it.
But that's illegal. Why?
You don't get illegal. How
much are you receiving?
Good one.
She's the one who came up with all this.
So she did it. She started this whole thing with the pay to vote.
Yeah.
So the people that work for Ilhan are actually counting the ballots, counting the vote.
And they become a manager in the prison too.
They walk with you to the booth, and then they vote. Oh, vote this guy, vote this guy, vote this guy. Vote even if you speak English.
The reason she's fighting for Palestine is because of this guy. So it's all about money and power, and they want her to defend Israel.
There we go. So they're paying for votes. It does. It's not good at all.
It's so corrupt, actually, that you know, I was doing a little research today when after I watched it, it kind of hit home with me that I realized what they do and what these Democrats do. If you look at the squad, for example, like Ilhan Omar gets elected, they bought her votes. They have these other councilmen and, like, you know, city council members that do the same thing. And then if you look who the guy who would be a prosecutor, the attorney general, Keith Ellison. This guy is a leftist clown. He is not going to prosecute.
He used to be the Democratic National Committee chairman.
Absolutely. Keith Ellison has dipped his finger in just about every single pie in the Democratic Party, and he's a super leftist. He's been posted with Antifa handbooks, guidebooks. His son is a devout member of Antifa. And here's the thing about Minnesota. It's just the tip of the iceberg, because if you also look into Michigan and look into Rashida Tlaib, the same thing is going on in her. Her districts have all these corrupt people that have stolen elections and they have bought votes. And this is how they do it. And this has been revealed now, thank God. But this is going to be up to Bill Barr to prosecute them, like, federally, because these state people are all in place. They make sure that they're surrounded by people that won't prosecute them.
All right. Yeah, that's going on. We need to stop that the big time. So hope Bill Barr jumps on that and sees that. So, but let's go on to a new subject here. We got Armenia and Azerbaijan and total war going on. What do you think about that, Bill?
I think, honestly, for a lot of people, like, we try to keep up on world events, but if you talk to most people, they won't even know where Azerbaijan is and how it relates to their daily life. But like we were talking about a pre-show, that, you know, some of these smaller countries have agreements with a larger country, like let's just say Russia.
Yeah, Armenia's with Russia, several other countries. So if they're in trouble, Russia comes in and protects them. And then we have Azerbaijan, same thing. Turkey will come in and help them. So it becomes a regional war if those two powers jump in, and then it could turn into world war after that.
Easily, because it's just layers and layers of this country has an agreement with this country to come to their aid. And honestly, Israel is the powder keg for us. I mean, if we're going to get involved in a world war, it's going to be somebody who attacks Israel, and then here we are. We're in it too.
Yeah. Yeah, let's take a look at this video. It's very, very good. This happened today. It's a frontline video of the war. Take a look.
All right.
These are Armenian troops. That's the front line. So I mean, it's going on. I mean, I heard earlier they destroyed an Armenian bunker housed with a bunch of high-level military officials. I mean, it's really being a drone war. Really, I mean, there's drones everywhere going on for Armenia side, Azerbaijan. They're doing kamikaze attacks. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on over there.
The craziest part of this, I think, to put it in perspective, is that most people that have, like I said, they're not up on like global politics or really understand that whole region. What are they fighting over? When you look at the land that they're fighting over, there's nothing on it. It's barren roads, it's spotty little villages, and like a lot of people look at it like, oh, that doesn't matter. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to affect this. It's not going to affect that. But the reality is that we're somehow, some way tied in. Either we're providing weapons to one side or the other, or Russia and China are providing these drones. Because I mean, I watched the drone footage. They're good. I mean, they're on target. You see them. It reminds me of like the Desert Storm era, where it's like, wow,
well, it doesn't,
lasered.
Exactly. It does matter because what happens is, if say Azerbaijan gets ran over by Armenia, Russia is part of Armenia, Azerbaijan is part of Turkey. If Turkey gets attacked, they're a NATO member. We could come into it.
Right. And then all of a sudden, it puts Trump in a position where now he has to act, being the commander in chief. Right. And, you know, all these military guys, he's gotten rid of a lot of war hawks that he's had in place, because he really has proven, once again, his promise that he wants to, in his heart, bring the troops home from overseas. But it's stuff like this that keeps those war hawks in place, because they're like, now you need me. Now you want me. You want to know about the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea? Here I am.
Exactly.
I'm the guy.
Well, with Russia and Turkey is already fighting over Libya too. So there's Libya. You got Turkey and Greece fighting. In Egypt, Turkey fighting with Egypt maybe in the future. So it's a big mess, and things can touch off anytime to go to a major regional or world war.
Yeah, and I ran to powder keg, and you know, here's the other thing. I heard every once in a while I put on like a liberal radio station or something just to see what they're talking about, and I put on NPR, and NPR actually does touch on global politics, and they actually accused Trump of inciting violence in the Mediterranean to take pressure off of himself for the debates. And this is how the left operates. Like they honestly find a way to push every little thing that happens in the world. Like Donald Trump's doing this. Yeah. He's trying to he doesn't want to release his taxes. Yeah, he doesn't want to release his taxes. So therefore Azerbaijan got the green light to, it's crazy.
It is crazy. So let's take a look at election. It's 34 days to election. Look at that.
So close. It's unbelievably close. I mean, 34 days, 11 hours. Like, I got a little getaway planned, and I'm like, wow, like I'm gonna come back from that, and 2 weeks later, it's like the election, man.
Yeah. And are we gonna have a party, or what's gonna happen? What were we gonna do that night?
I mean, so many of us are realizing how important this election really is, and I'm sad to say this, but even if Trump wins, I mean, this is going to be something that they have contested his win in 2016, and they haven't given up until this point. They're not going to give up if he gets reelected. We're going to be subject to so much more crap, whatever they got up their sleeves, and it's going to be a detriment to this country, the way they act. And it really sucks that Trump exposed a lot of things in his presidency. He exposed the importance of state and local government, because when the coronavirus hit, you realize that if your governor did not have his shit together, you were screwed, and you really had no way of getting your hospitals up to speed, getting them on backup power, getting them on, with enough PPE, and all of the things that they were supposed to do from the door. Everybody wanted to blame Trump, and he was like, yeah, I want to help, but there they are. They're your guys. So, I mean, he exposed the importance of state and local government, and he also exposed the importance of having a government where they all work for the people. When you have half of the House of Representatives, or more than half, that doesn't work for Americans, and then you have senators that don't have any American interest in mind, it's toxic for this country. And I think people that pay attention are like, wow, it took Donald Trump to bring this to light, because if you had died in a war Republican, he would have played the game. He would have been very much not like Trump. He would have probably said, yeah, we're really trying hard, but this is like a thing. Trump's the guy who calls him out and calls a spade and says, this guy's fake, this guy's fake, this guy's crooked, this guy's dirty. We needed Trump at this time. Can we always have a Trump? I'm not sure, but we needed Trump now to show us what was really going on under the rug. There's a lot of cockroaches under there, and I think he pulled the rug away.
He did. So he showed the true colors. So
yeah,
I'm getting my chips ready for the debate, and
let's do it.
Yeah, so let's do that. So that's the show. I mean, do you have any last words, Bill?
Oh man, I am so fired up for this debate. I am going to watch Biden go down in flames, unless Chris Wallace really pulls this weird thing that he has where he's like, hold on now, let's blah blah blah, because he hates to let Trump really get his momentum going.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we're gonna watch Chris Wallace and we're gonna see which side he's on, because I've already saw him wave the Soros flag before. Oh, yeah. So we'll see which side he's on.
Yeah, we'll see tonight, and I can't wait. So only minutes away. So thanks for joining us here at the Filmation Show. Thanks for all the new subscribers. I mean, we are getting up there. I appreciate that, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, share the show with a friend if you think we're cool.
Yes, please. Goodbye.
Night.